Hey, good people. It is Casey here, co founder and executive director of Hey, Help and Empower Youth. And we are here tonight to kick off our author read aloud. So, you know that we are gearing up and we're so excited to host our annual, well, semi-annual, really, because we do it in the fall, we do it in the spring, but the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. Now, you know that the pandemic kind of shuttered our plans and we weren't able to host this in any of 2020, not at all in 2021. And we got really close to 2022, kind of having us not be able to host this event, but we pulled it off. And so we are excited. We have RSVPs coming in every day in terms of folks who have expressed their interest to just show up, to be able to shop with these authors and these vendors, to celebrate literacy and reading with all of us. And we hope that you will be there too. So, in an effort to get you excited, we are kicking back off our read alouds. Now, I know y'all love it when Coach Boyd reads, right? And I promise you, you're going to see him at some point before our festival commences on the 12th. But in the process, right? We want you all to be a part of this and to hear from some of our VIP authors, from some of our featured authors, as they read just a snippet of their books, right? We can't give it all away because we want you to come learn more about the stories, more about the authors, more about the books at the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. And after our very special guest, our VIP author, Annalisa Davis, reads a part of her book, we got a special treat for you because one of the young people that are part of our program is going to read a book as well that was actually donated by John Verdi, who is the co-founder of the Verdi Eco School in Florida, and also the founder of Hey Blue, right? And so he donated so many books to us. We're going to take them to the book festival. We're going to make sure every child gets a book because we also want to thank Mrs. Georgia, right? Continental, I believe I got that right. She got a donation of close to 1,000 books, y'all. So we believe in equity, meaning that we want you to come. We want you to shop with these authors, shop with these vendors, but we want to make sure that that cost is not a barrier for any child, right? That comes, they will have the opportunity to pick from a book. So we're excited. Y'all know I could talk about this on and on and on and on, right? But I'm not because I want to bring to the screen Miss Davis, and we're going to chat just a bit, and then we're going to let her read a snippet of her book. And then I promise you, we got a very special guest for you, and he is going to read a book tonight too. So, Annalisa, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So glad. Do you know you are the first author in this series that's kicking off our read alouds, our author read alouds. And so we're so excited to have you here. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into writing? What makes it special for you? Or what inspired you to write your first book?
Well, I've been writing ever since I was in second grade, and when I learned about how exciting it was and how you can make your own stories and characters, I knew I wanted to go into this field. And I began writing my first book, Little Oak, last year for a 4-H competition. And it started out as a poem. And I knew I
Oh.
wanted to focus on colorism as I'm very interested on the topic or subject. And my mom suggested we should turn it into a book. And and that's how I got here.
No, that's wonderful. I love how you merge a passion or an interest that you have with your creative side, with writing and poetry. 4-H is a phenomenal program. So for those who, mostly in the southern states, we see the 4-H program, but it really allows for young people to get into art, agriculture and farming and just all the things that really we don't think about when we think about Black folks, right? Even though that is a large part of what we have done in this country, right? We just don't get the shine for it. So kudos to you
Thank you.
and excited for that journey. Well, tell us a little bit about Little Oak, right? Without
Mhm,
giving it all away, like what's the synopsis of the book before you give us a snippet of it?
mhm. So, my book is about a little oak who lives in her town and she has red leaves, but yellow leaves are perceived as beautiful, and she wants to have yellow leaves. And as I began writing this book, I was inspired by colorism, and dark skin was devalued compared to light skin. And I
Mm,
knew I wanted to do a story based on that and a character who I identify with
yeah.
and other people could identify with.
No, I love it. I think
Mhm,
that is also part of the reason why we are so excited about hosting the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color, right? Because we don't often see ourselves reflected on the pages of books, especially books that are required reading in school, or even the books that we get from some of these bigger box type publishing companies with the book festivals we're all familiar with, right?
mhm,
That a lot of times we don't really see stories that reflect the experiences that we have as people of color. And not just us, but all people should want diverse books in their personal libraries, but also hopefully we can encourage and influence school districts and school systems to make sure they're being more intentional about the books and talking about things that we have to discuss, right? I mean,
mhm,
unfortunately, in our community, it's something that comes up. So why shy away from it versus using books and storytelling to help share principles? So
mhm,
awesome. Well, I'm going to give you the stage
mhm,
and allow you to read a little bit, a few pages from the Little Oak.
mhm. Well, thank you. So here is my book, Little Oak, and here is the page I want to show you. Once there was a town named Willow with two main colors of leaves. Unfortunately, red less valued than the yellows, and that is how beauty was perceived. A little oak grew in the burrow, and her leaves were red. She tried anything to get her leaves yellow. Her hopes were shot dead. Willows of yellow taunted her day after day. Nice shape, nice size, but those leaves are a sore to the eye. Little Oak cried and walked away. Why do I have to have red leaves? She sighed. And that is a preview of my book.
I love it. And I love how you kept the poetry in it
Mm-hmm.
as well. That I think too for some of our younger readers really helps them with comprehension, but also helps them understand like the phonetics of words, being able to hear those words that rhyme or have
Mm-hmm.
similar endings. So like your book is hitting on so many different pieces, both creatively, but also from like the science of reading, right? And what
Mm-hmm.
makes reading fun. So we cannot wait to learn the rest of the story,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you all can learn the rest of the story too when you come out to the Hey Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color on Saturday, November 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs. Not too far from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or right there on the west side of Atlanta, off of North Side Drive, across the street from the Atlanta University Center. It's so easy to find us, and we want you to come out so that you can also engage and meet Annalisa and all the other phenomenal authors and vendors that will be there in this space as well. So, Annalisa, is there anything that you'd like to leave the folks with, or any final words that you'd like to share with them?
Yes. I hope children, when they read this book, that they can see themselves in Little Oak and realize that they're not alone. And what the society tells us what is beautiful, we don't have to be put in these beauty standards of what is beautiful. And beauty comes from the inside. And especially as African Americans, learning that we are beautiful, even though some of us might have darker skin than others, that we're all beautiful no matter what. Hmm.
Absolutely. I love it. And I cannot wait to meet you live and in person. again on November 12th. And so we thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your evening with us. And we'll see you very, very soon.
Yeah.
Bye. All right, folks. So I told you we had a special treat for you. So before you log off, we have one of our young men who are part of our program here at Help and Empower Youth. We just finished up some programming because y'all know we do things unconventionally around here. And so they were doing some archery earlier today and practicing their skills there. And Santonio realized that we were kicking off our read alouds. And I said, well, why not? Why don't you choose a book to read? So, again, thank you so much to John Verdi of the Verdi Eco School and also the founder of Hey Blue, right? So, you can follow Hey Blue. I believe it's Hey Blue on Instagram. Learn more about the initiative that he is working towards to really build better and more positive interactions in community. And he gave us, y'all, like this thing is heavy. Like I can't, it's heavy. It's loaded down with lots of books that we're going to take to the Hey Let's Read Book Festival. But from this library here, books that he donated, Santonio chose a book and he is going to read that book to you tonight. So I'm going to come off camera. We're going to switch spaces for just a moment. And I hope that you all enjoy. You ready? All right, give us just a moment.
Okay. Before I start, I want to say that I like Little Oak. I like the book. I like the idea of the book, and I like the preview. The book I'm gonna be reading today is called Red, and it's by Michael Hall, and it's a story about a crayon. Um, okay. He was red, but he wasn't very good at it. As you can see, all of us over here talking about, oh dear. His teachers thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't, really. Like this. Oh my, let's try again. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? A really big one, a really orange one. But they made a big greenish one. Yuck. Oops. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm though. Your class is making self-portraits for parents' night. Wear this warm red scarf. Nice, it's so you. But it so wasn't. Oh dear me. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Sometimes I wonder if he's really red at all. Don't be silly. It says red on his label. He came that way from the factory. Frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Well, I think he's lazy. Right. He's got to press harder. Really apply himself. Give him time. He'll catch on. Of course he will. All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. This will help hold you together. The scissors thought the label was too tight. One snip should do it. I thought he wasn't sharp enough. Stay still now. But even with all our help and all his hard work, he just couldn't get the hang of it. One day he met a new friend. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't. I'm red. Will you try? So he did. Thank you. It's perfect. You're welcome. It was easy. And he didn't stop there. Bluebells, blue jeans, bluebird, blueberries, blue whale. He's blue. He was blue, and everyone was talking. My son is brilliant. Who could have known he was blue? I always said he was blue. It was obvious. His blue ocean really lifted me. All of his work makes me happy. His blue strawberries are my favorite. He's so intense. I'm going to make a green lizard with him, a really big one. I hear he's working on a huge new project. He's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. The end. But I would like to point something out. Although I thought that this crayon was going to end up to be red, and it disappointed me when he ended up to be blue, there was a clue at the beginning of the book that really stood out to me. At the beginning of the book, this crayon right here said, "Hey, I'm friends with that crayon." After reading through the book, you can see there at the page where he was asked to draw water for the boat, it was the same crayon from the beginning. So he was indeed friends with the blue-red crayon.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. A lot of lessons. It's a children's book, but I learned something from it. One, you can't let people tell you who you are, right? Because even though he had a label around him, it was evident that he was a blue crayon, but people kept telling him that he was red. But he had that one friend who saw him for who he was, right? And asked him to show up based on who he truly was on the inside, regardless of the label that he saw. And he built some confidence and he was able to help his friend out. So I think it is a wonderful story in terms of knowing who you are and being careful about what you let people label you, right? Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so much for being a part of our very first, in a minute, read aloud. I said earlier, I know y'all miss Coach Boyd. We're going to get him on here reading one day very soon. We know he's very animated and has lots of commentary when he reads his books. And so we want you all to stay tuned, stay locked in, so that you know when the next read aloud is going to happen. Share this with your friends, your family, or gather the little ones around you so that you can hear read by Michael Hall, a crayon story, right? It sounds like an expose already. And with that, we can't wait to see you on Saturday, November 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs for the Hey, Let's Read Book Festival for Children of Color. We'll talk to you soon.